Immortal Snake Nest. You'll be helping a very good doctor find out what's wrong with you. I still don't understand what happened. I was at work when suddenly the snake began to move. It had taken residence in my skull some time ago. I can't recall when anymore. In your skull? I found it difficult to talk about it to other people, despite always feeling it. Every day was a feat and constantly relearning to live with its demands. As the snake loosened its grip on my frontal lobe, I had suddenly found myself feeling lighter, eased. For the first time in a long time. My sigh of relief came in the form of a moan, as my body collapsed onto the floor. Oh, who's this? When I had come to, I was faced with an endless ceiling, and a man in a white coat. Guy looks like the most untrustworthy doctor ever. Good afternoon. I had difficulty making out his face. You gave everyone quite a scare back there. Do you remember what happened? Let's say no. Well, at the very least, I can confirm that your vitals are normal. Nothing serious from the impact with the ground either. Well, I know where I am. Who are you? We just finished a preliminary test. You don't have anything to worry about right now. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. I'll try asking again. Okay. Can I ask where am I? He's looking at me as if he doesn't know I've finished speaking. Anyhow, we have just one last thing to do, and then you're home free. Sit tight. He squeezes my bare calf affirmingly before rising from his seat and disappearing behind the curtain. The snake has been clenching intensely ever since I have woken up. Oh God. It is as uncertain about his surroundings as I am. What is that thing? Looks like a centipede. A cautionary hiss only I can hear reverberates throughout my body. Like the primordial predator it is, it will not forfeit the comfort of its nest so easily. Controlled, I start from the head. Unclenching my jaw, I exhale and squeeze the tension from the diaphragm. Ooh. My chest deflates in succession. The gentle motion unties the force binding my shoulders against my sides. Oh God, how thin are you? My lower back rolls against the plastic covering of the mattress, spreading itself out farther than the state I had woken in. Oh God. The buttocks, thighs, calves, and feet follow until I am splayed against the surface, like an animal on a dissection tray. I am relaxed. The beast does not know pleasure, but is contented with my self-discipline. It retracts its fangs and curls itself back into a comfortable bundle. I can feel it watching me intensely, still. I hope you haven't fallen asleep in there. The man in the white coat emerges from behind the curtain. Another man in scrubs holding a metal dish falls behind him. Composed, I am now able to address the men in proper. Okay, doctor, while I cannot speak for what had happened to me, I can assure you that I feel fine now. The doctor smiles reassuringly. The nurse rings his finger from along the bottom of the dish. Furthermore, as you can see, my physical and mental faculties have remained intact. If anything, I feel rather refreshed. Doesn't say anything. Doctor's expression remains the same. He turns his head to look at his partner. It's shocked, most likely. When individuals emerge from traumatic experiences, oh God, with this creepy music, rationalization, the event may be expressed in the form of rambling. Rambling. I'm sure you're acquainting yourself with this in your studies. The nurse nods. What do you suggest? Well, eccentric behavior isn't necessarily violent behavior, the doctor explains. Nonetheless, protocol should take precedent. Not taking the proper precautions can become a liability. So you're saying we should muzzle her? What? The doctor chuckles. It's like I'm not even here. If you raise her voice, they think she's crazy? Should I try to reason with them? I would like to call my employer to let them know that I am alright before we do anything, please. I can feel the nurse glaring at me. Despite being unable to see his face, I know that I have upset him in particular by interjecting. The serpent slithers around my brain, marking its territory. It watched the nurse watch me. Limply lying on the bed, I feel naked beneath their gazes. He opens his mouth for a curt reply. Whatever you're trying to do, it's going to have to wait. The doctor smoothly follows up. There are things going on with you that we need you to help us understand. There is something wrong with me? A diagnostics was conducted while you were unconscious. The doctor raises his eyebrows sympathetically. Some of your coworkers told us that you have troubles integrating with them. Okay. You're friendly and hardworking, but maintain certain boundaries. Okay, is there anything wrong with that? I remain firm. I'm very personable with them. Of course. A little on the quiet side though, right? Prefer to keep work at work? He seems to be listening now. I nod cautiously. There isn't anything wrong with that. His disposition remains amiable. Would you like to say that your episode today was maybe due to some of these difficulties? Okay, maybe she had some kind of breakdown and then she doesn't remember any of that. The snake is calm right now. I feel like I can answer honestly. Perhaps a little. Well, in that case, I think we might just have something that may help. He's pleased. Well, expedite your treatment. Your cooperation has been appreciated. My eyes flick to the sponge the doctor is holding. It was a sponge. The nurse is still glaring at me. The doctor grips my calf with the same reassuredness as before, setting the sponge between my legs on the mattress. And, in a perfunctory motion, extracts the serpent from the metallic dish. Ew. The snake in my skull feels my fear set in immediately. It unfurls and presses itself against my temporal lobe as I reflexively snap my legs away from the doctor. I open my mouth to scream, but all that leaks out is a confused whine. The snake inhibits me from responding. I bunch a thin, hospital-grade cotton blanket against my bed and attempt to erect a barrier between myself and it. I'm always so mindful of my snake, so why... Without the doctor's request, the nurse strides towards me and attempts to hold me in place. His form partially obscures my vision. In tandem, the snake presses itself against every strip of material flesh it can find. It gyrates to create a painful friction before burying its fangs and hovering over my cortex. My pitiful blanket barrier has been carelessly crushed by the nurse's body weight. Unable to take more abuse, I finally freeze. The doctor moves towards me with the snake in hand and slides the sponge closer to me. Appeal? I don't want to see that. I don't want it. I cough and recompose under the pressure. Doctor, please, I can assure you that I'm just fine. The weight of the nurse is not weighing. Perhaps a bit hungry from having slept for so long, the doctor washes a small patch of my skin on my leg. The snake perks up, smelling the moist flesh. Unlike the one in my brain, this one is blind. Its olfactory senses do not appear inhibited, however, as it levitates towards the scent. The doctor guides it closer, allowing it to become acquainted like a newborn baby towards a family pet. I feel a thin tongue whip across a patch of my leg. Ugh. Doctor, I have a very important arrangement this afternoon. I have no time for an operation. Should we consider rescheduling? Mature? Reasonable? I'm sweating globs. There's no one to cry for to help me. That's why they gave me the first snake. Wait, the first snake? Doctor, while I have a sturdy constitution, I may just make matters more difficult for you by being so unprepared. Doctor, I am a upstanding member of society. If I need another snake, snake, then I can independently decide the appropriate avenues and if you gave me at least 48 hours, I'd be able to comply with representatives who will attest to my character and... Her hair is so stringy, the nurse says idly. The doctor's maw stretches open, letting out an affectionate laugh, and the snake bites down. Layers of teeth penetrate the first epidermal layer, and using the suction from its throat, the serpent stretches and snares skin apart to travel to the second layer of flesh. The bone snaps upon impact with its tough head. You're doing great so far. The doctor's voice sounds so far away. Sinew is restricted as quickly as it is destroyed. The tarnished flesh is used as nutrition, and the creature secretes a thick fluid that ossifies in its place. Despite being a reptile, the destruction is mechanical, similar to an ant at work. The initial prick is painful, but the installation itself is similar to an uncomfortable cramp. Feeling it wiggle makes me want to throw up, more than anything else. I'm unmoving, but the nurse and serpent in my dream grip me harder than before. And a natural process made natural from the inside out. The snake shakes to loosen the entrance as the rest of its body is propelled inside. The assimilation is complete. Look at that! The nurse peels himself off me like a thick strip of gauze, and I can finally see what has become of my leg. Oh God, Swollen, fatigued, the wound is still fresh. The snake periodically tosses and turns, attempting to accustom itself to its new home. The doctor tilts his head to look at my face. It will feel itchy for about 72 hours. Once it's comfortable in there, though, you'll find yourself with a whole new lease on life. The edges of my mouth lift into a weary smile. We'll put it in a class to keep it isolated until the incubation period is finished. Speak to the front desk to book a follow-up appointment after you get dressed. After a week, I go back to work. The boss has a box of donuts in the lunchroom to celebrate my rehabilitation. My coworkers ask how I'm feeling. I tell them I'm a little bit better and apologize for any inconvenience. Everyone signs my cast. That's it? What was that? This has to be an allegory to something. Maybe she didn't fit into the society that she's in, and they put those snakes in her to, like, control her or make her who they, like, want to be. That was so gruesome and disturbing. It was so weird. I don't really understand what was about. But she seems to just accept it, basically. Well, that was very interesting. That's the end of Immortal Snake Nest. And I really feel bad for her. That looks absolutely terrible. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Bye!